Hey there, guys. Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. It's been a few weeks and I missed you guys. And a lot has happened over the last few weeks since I've seen you. Almost too much. I'm almost overwhelmed with the amount of movie news I feel like I need to cover, but I have to. And let me double check this audio to make sure it sounds good. And because we always have a technical issue, and I guarantee you at some point in this live stream, another technical issue will happen. But I want to make sure my audio... Oh, it sounds good. Okay, we're going. But my first question to you guys is, before we dive into the main topic, is what MCU/Star Wars upcoming movies or TV shows are you most excited about or give a shit about? For me, I'll just go down my list, and it's a very short list of upcoming MCU projects and Star Wars movies and shows that I really care about that were announced a few weeks ago by Disney. And the main one is Spider-Man 3. I almost think this movie should be called Spider-Man 3 Into the Fan Service Universe, because that's essentially what we're getting. Everything that we've ever wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie is culminating in this upcoming movie. It's almost like they're blowing their load. Actually, I shouldn't say blowing their load. I should say shooting their web. That sounds better. Yeah. In this new Spider-Man movie. I mean, you're bringing back... supposedly, multiple different Spider-Mans. You're bringing back Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. You're going to have 15 villains in this movie at some point. Willem Dafoe is supposedly coming back to play the Green Goblin again. I'm excited. It almost felt like this would take 3 or 4 movies to get to, but no, they're like, you know what? We don't need any of that. Let's just make the movie everyone wants to see. And this is something I never thought we would see. So good on Disney/Sony and this upcoming Spider-Man movie, which could probably be the best Spider-Man movie ever made. I mean, it's basically just combining every single Spider-Man movie ever made into one and then continuing that story. But yeah, we're getting that live action Into the Spider-Verse. And I think if it wasn't for the success of the animated Spider-Verse film a few years ago, this might not have happened, but they saw that people liked it. It was successful. It was critically praised. And they're like, you know what? Let's just make a live action version of that. And for that, I say, awesome. But the things specifically I wanted to talk about with that movie or this upcoming movie is the villains. Now, some of the past Spider-Man villains, like Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, and I love me some Jamie Foxx, Django Unchained for life, man. But I like that they're bringing back these characters that might not have been represented the best the first time around. Essentially, for me, Electro in the Spider-Man movies was like Mr. Freeze in the Batman movies. Just corny, hokey bullshit that was terribly executed. But I still have a cold place deep down in my heart for Mr. Freeze. But I like that they're almost getting a second chance to get some of these villains right without having to go through the origin story again. And since it's a multiverse, we can have that different version of Electro from another universe show up in this new Spider-Man movie, and maybe this new version is a better version, or at least I hope he is. Maybe he's not blue and saying shitty one-liners. Spider-Man, it's my birthday. Want to blow up my candles? Yeah, no more of that. But also continue on, going from there though, if you bring back Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, he no longer has to be the Green Goblin from the early 2000s Spider-Man movie that's wearing a Power Rangers suit. No, he can actually be the actual Green Goblin from the comics. He can be disfigured and green, and you can put prosthetics on Willem Dafoe and have a true representation of what the Green Goblin truly should be. Not just some guy in a suit flying around on a glider. The itsy bitsy spider. So I think with the multiverse going into this movie, it could be awesome. Like those are just my hopes, my dreams, my fantasies. And there's also talk, once again, they might bring back Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. Now, I would say the Rhino is probably by far the worst cinematic Spider-Man villain we've ever seen. I think easily, because the trailer sort of lied to us. You know, we thought we were getting the Rhino, and then we got Paul Giamatti in the robot suit for 13 seconds at the end of the movie. But imagine this. Imagine if it wasn't the mechanical version of the Rhino. We actually got the actual guy in the Rhino suit who looks like a giant rhino. Imagine if you could just manipulate Paul Giamatti to be that version of Rhino. That's what I would like to see. But anyway, yeah, that's probably my number one most anticipated upcoming MCU movie, just because that's like a dream, a fantasy come true. And by the way, I will answer all of your guys' questions, and we'll dive into that. And I do want to hear from you guys about what you're hoping to see with some of the upcoming MCU movies. There were so many announcements made, and I didn't take notes. I just make shit up off the top of my head. The next one that gets me excited, and I think we all knew it was coming for a while now, was we're finally, well, not finally, we've gotten a few of these, and none of them have ever been good, especially the last one, which is an abomination against humanity, and even saying its name makes me angry. It makes both my fists ball up. It makes me want to punch something as hard as I possibly can, and that's we're getting a new Fantastic Four-stick movie. The last one was complete ass juice. I know. But you know what? I have faith in this upcoming one. And this is a movie, a franchise, or a property I've always wanted to see done right. And I think Disney will get it right this time. And I'm excited to see it. I think there's so much they can do with it, and especially tying it into the current MCU. I think it's a necessary thing right now. And I just think if you cast the right actors to play these roles, it could be a fun time. I'd like to see the Human Torch come back to the big screen again. And then, you know, coincidentally, the original Human Torch became Captain America, so anything's possible. But yeah, I'm excited to see that. Now, when it comes to upcoming Star Wars properties and movies, as far as the movies go, I don't have a lot of faith and I don't have a lot of hope, nor do I really care that much, because I feel like Disney sort of, they let me down too many times. But what I do have hope for is some of the upcoming series. Now, I'm a huge fan of The Mandalorian. I love it. Every time I watch an episode of The Mandalorian, I instantly feel like a 10-year-old kid watching Saturday morning cartoons. It just takes me to a happy place. So I'm obviously excited for Mandalorian Season 3. That's a given. But the other upcoming Star Wars series I'm really excited for is Obi-Wan, starring Ewan McGregor. Now, Ewan McGregor is a great actor, and I was already excited for this series, but when they made this announcement right here, and I never thought this would happen. Am I the only one who never thought this would happen? By the way, the other thing I never thought would happen is I feel like I need to turn this a little bit to talk to you guys. But the thing that really blew me away was they're having Hayden Christensen return as Darth Vader. What? Now, my only question is now, I wonder if he still hates sand and if it's rough and coarse and it gets everywhere. But yeah, I think the early years of Darth Vader could lend itself to be really interesting. Now, they got to be very careful with this because the lore of Darth Vader, that mysteriousness, you know, that's what made Darth Vader so phenomenal, especially in the original trilogy. So I don't want them to taint that. But I also feel like there's room to give fans a little bit more insight to those early years of him maybe getting used to the suit, maybe some things that we've never seen, you know, the bath, for example, where he has to take these baths to like soothe his wounds and his burns, and just give us that side of Darth Vader. I would like to see that, just really becoming one with that suit. Now, there is some speculation because Hayden Christensen will reprise his role as Darth Vader. And because it's a TV series and they're going to want those character moments and some more expression, they're saying that there might be a different early Darth Vader mask or another version of the Darth Vader mask that he puts on when he's not out in public, where you get more, you get a better view of his face. So maybe more facial expressions. I'm not sure if that's a real thing. I could see that happening, but at the same time, I feel like that's pushing it a little too much, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I am excited to see it, and feel free to chime in, guys. Those are my quick thoughts. Those are my most anticipated upcoming MCU Star Wars movies. There's a ton of other movies coming out that I really want to see, but nothing else gets me as excited as what I just mentioned. I mean, Thor Love and Thunder could be great. I loved Thor Ragnarok. I really did. I think it's one of the most rewatchable MCU movies, in my opinion. Probably right beside the Endgame and Infinity War. Ragnarok is probably one of my top rewatchable ones. And Christian Bale playing a villain in the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder. Now that gets me really excited. I can't wait to see what he does with that. But let me dive in to see what you guys said about some of these upcoming movies. Okay. Let's see. Fantastic Four. Okay. Spider-Man 3. The movie is going to be a mess. All right. Spider-Man 3 is going to suck. Well, I disagree with that. When it comes to the original Spider-Man movies, well, not the original, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, the first two, I don't really love them. I think the first one's like good. It's sufficient. The second one, Spider-Man Far From Home, to me, I didn't really like it. I didn't hate it, but it just felt like such a disposable movie in my opinion. Patrick John says, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but I don't want this. Odd. I do. I do. I just feel like they're doing everything they possibly can with it. Let's dive into some of the questions you guys are asking here. I'm 12 Bama. Have you ever watched Clone Wars or Rebels? And if so, what were your thoughts? Never got into them. Especially Clone Wars. I didn't like the anime style of it. The animation style kind of turned me off to it. And those series came out around the time I think I was graduating high school and I was going into college. I think maybe they came out a little bit. Maybe they came out while I was in high school. But it was just something that I wasn't into at the time. Like I was into other stuff, so I never got into them. Carter Lovejoy, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. That is the obvious fan choice in my opinion. And the other obvious one is Emily Blunt as Invisible Woman. I could see that. Garrett Hudland as Human Torch, John Cena as The Thing, and Bill Skarsgård as Doctor Doom. I'm with all of those choices. I don't mind any of those, to be honest with you. Garrett Hudland, is that the dude? I think this was like, I feel like you're picking your... Yeah, Garrett Hudland, no, I don't want him. I don't want him as the Torch. I don't want him. That's the dude who was in Troy and Four Brothers. I want the dude who played, what is his name? Hang on. Yeah, I want Billy Hargrove, played by Darce Montgomery. He was Billy in Stranger Things, like the asshole villain who had like a mullet. I want him to play the Torch. Think about it. Is that not a great casting choice? To me it is. I'd like to see that happen. Film Spark, have you seen what the hell are you? Film Spark, have you seen new Too Furious movie? Car go so fast, you said you shit your pants. I haven't. What are we talking? I don't know what this is. The two Fast and Furious movies? Oh, that comes from Film Smack. I read that wrong completely. I don't know. Fast and Furious 2 was terrible. That's the worst one. But oddly enough, I saw it in theaters 4 times. Lucas Bernaskowitz says, I'm so nervous about Spider-Man 3 because every time there is a Spider movie with so many characters, it ends up being bad. Yes, typically when you have too many villains in a Spider-Man movie, it is bad. It's a bloated garbage stain that reminds me of Spider-Man 3. Just speaking of Spider-Man 3, almost gave me the Rona right there. But yeah, you have to know how to balance the villains. But if you go into your movie, and that's the goal, is to have a multiverse of villains and heroes, if you think Infinity War was handled well, if you think Endgame was handled well, there was multiple heroes, multiple villains. I mean, they handled it fairly well, in my opinion. It just comes down to the script and the director. And I think if you have multiple different versions of Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse movie, it'll be fine. If you have 3 different versions of Spider-Man, well, you should have 6 different villains. That makes sense to me. I mean, how else would you do something like the Sinister Six? That's the whole point. You have to have multiple villains. It's how you handle them. And if you randomly at the last second, if you're Sony Studios and you decide, hey, this movie needs Venom. Why? Because we're stupid producers. We have no creative imagination and we like to tack everything into a movie without any creative consistency. Well, you'll get something like a Spider-Man 3 where you throw Venom in the last 7 minutes of the movie and it feels like it was tacked in because, well, it was. But you have to handle it well. And if you go into the movie knowing you're going to have multiple villains, it can be phenomenal. So, Hang on, I have 15 windows open right now, and I don't even know where I'm at right now. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to catch up on your questions here. You guys are killing it, so just give me a minute, and I will get to all of them. Carter Lovejoy says, "Sup, you beautiful bastards. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome back to the John Flickinger Show. Buckle up, hit that like button, and let's just jump into it." Well, thank you. That was a better intro than mine. And if you guys could hit that like button, it really does help that stupid YouTube algorithm. And it lets YouTube know, hey, you guys are watching this video. You like it. It hopefully will show up in your sub box since you're subscribed to me. But YouTube doesn't believe in the subscription box thing anymore. So you just randomly get videos when they decide you do. But yeah, thank you guys all for joining me. And thanks for that comment, man. All right, the next one, Rando Commando 41. Happy holidays, John. Hope all is well. Stay safe and enjoy the holidays. Well, thank you, and happy holidays to all of you as well. I hope to see you guys in another day or two. I'll do another live stream. I need to really move this microphone closer because I don't like turning my head. But yeah, happy holidays to you guys. I hope you guys are going to have a great Christmas, but I will see you guys before Christmas, so no worries. All right. Must tie reviews. Clark/Diana/Bruce/Diana would love to see Batman and plus I would love to see B plus D. Like Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman hook up and get together. Yeah, that could okay. I could see that happening, but not sure, I guess. I'm sure you can find that video somewhere if you search in the dark crevices of the internet. Jack Lame, Alpha Kinney Body. Jack, I don't know what that means. Benny says, I would like to see Silver Surfer done right. Do you like the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer movie? I sort of do like the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer movie. To me, that's the best Fantastic Four movie actually made. It's not that great. Galactus was a giant shit cloud coming to the planet Earth. That was handled terribly. But I did sort of like the character of Silver Surfer in that movie. I thought they did him okay. He looked cool. I have no complaints with the way he looked. He looked like the Silver Surfer, so that was a plus. But the movie itself is not that great. M12 Bama, we already answered that. Lou, where am I? Okay, here's the next one. Benny, did you hear the Tom Cruise rant? It's hilarious. I did, but I don't disagree with the guy. Now, Tom Cruise is completely crazy. I would believe he has a God complex personality and he sacrifices babies at night. But I like Tom Cruise. I think he's a phenomenal actor, definitely, and I like that he does his own stunts. I appreciate those things, and the guy learned how to fly a helicopter for a movie. That's great. But I did hear the rant, and I don't disagree with him. He was completely in the right. I mean, if you're shooting a multi-$100 million movie, and you need to get something done on a schedule, and you have insurance that you have to take care of, you have people that need to work, and you can't delay the movie, then yeah, be cautious. Do whatever it takes to get that movie done. And if someone's on set not doing those things, possibly endangering the production of the movie, I would be pissed too. It's sort of a big deal. It's like you're getting paid to be here to do a job, then do the job. So I think his rant was completely justified. And I get it. I completely understood it. And it was nice to hear. It was entertaining. Not probably as entertaining as the Christian Bale rant from a few years ago about the guy adjusting the lights. That was really good as well. Frederick LeBrun. Hey John, would you like to see Cillian Murphy as Doctor Doom and either Zac Efron or Darcy Montgomery as Human Torch? Stay safe, man. Yeah, I mentioned. What is it? Dacre? What is his name? Did I say Darcy? I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Maybe I'm a moron. Cillian Murphy as Doctor Doom would be okay. I don't think it would be my first casting choice though. And Zac Efron as Human Torch, nah, I'm good. We'll pass on that. Rick LP, the Batman on HBO Max one day. Thoughts? Yeah, let's talk about HBO Max. That was the next main topic I was originally going to talk about. HBO Max. Now, God, so much has happened over the last few weeks. So much, almost too much. But let's talk about HBO Max. So they made the announcement a few weeks back that every major Warner Brothers movie, rather than going to theaters for the next year, will be coming directly to HBO Max. Now, when I first heard that news, I was excited. I was ecstatic. I was like really blown away. When they announced that Wonder Woman 84 was actually hitting HBO Max Christmas Day and not being delayed for a seventh time to go to theaters, I was like, whoa, okay. I never thought that was going to happen, but good on them. We can all enjoy the movie and watch a new movie at home. And if you can't go to movie theaters right now, then let's do the next best thing and present it to where you can watch it at home and watch the movie in your underwear. And that made me excited. But then, in typical fashion, somehow people were angry at this. And a lot of people were complaining, saying, well, this is killing the movie theater industry. And no, this isn't killing the movie theater industry. It's just currently right now, the situation is killing the movie theater industry. And the theater industry just happens to be a victim of everything happening. And plus, government restrictions aren't really helping all of that much. But maybe next year things return to normal, or at least I hope they do. But no, you can't delay movies over and over and over every week, a new release date, and push movies back 2 years and then just wait for things to open up, hoping for the best. But maybe that day never comes. So I think good on Warner Brothers, good on AT&T, and good on HBO Max for saying, you know what? For the next year, we're going to try this out. We're going to release our brand new movies where you can watch them at home and enjoy them. And if things do happen to change in the future and theaters open back up and everything goes to normal where people feel comfortable going back to the movie theater, then so be it. Now, with that said, I'm one of those guys. If every new movie came out in theaters right now, I would leave my house to go see it. But if you're going to give me the movie on a streaming service to where I can watch it at home, once again in my underwear, which is my preference, wrapped up in a blankie, eating popcorn, yeah, I'll take that as well. I'm just tired of waiting for new movies. And I think finally getting some of those, it gets me excited. So yeah, I'm excited to see Wonder Woman 84. I refuse to watch that opening scene they released on YouTube. I do not want to watch it. I'll just save it for when I watch it on HBO in a few weeks. And also, the other thing that got me really excited was they finally, after years of waiting, we got a release date for the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie. This is a movie I've been waiting since 1995 to see. Now, I loved the first 95 Mortal Kombat movie. Some people call it a guilty pleasure. I just call it a good fucking time. And I might also call it the best video game movie ever made. Fight me. I'll debate you all day about that. I think it is truly the best video game movie ever made. So yeah, I'm excited that we're getting Mortal Kombat and I get to watch it at home. But yeah, if you guys want to chime in and share your thoughts on this, for me, I love the movie theater experience. Like, do I want it to return one day? Absolutely. But I'm also one of those guys, I'll take what I can get in the meantime. And the thing is about streaming, the thing with streaming movies at home compared to the movie theater experience is if this was like 1999, and we were still watching movies on tube TVs, or 19-inch TVs on tube TVs in low def quality, I would say, yeah, I would really prefer to watch this movie at the movie theater. But if I can watch a brand new movie at home on my OLED TV, that to me sounds really enticing. So, and also I won't have people in front of me talking, texting, coughing, sneezing on me. It actually truly sounds more enjoyable. The worst thing about the movie theater are the people who go there with you. Not always, but sometimes. Yeah, so I'm excited. I want you guys to chime in on that. Also, speaking of HBO Max, it was just announced yesterday that HBO Max is finally on Roku. That's right, you actually have a way to watch HBO Max finally, which seems a little late in my opinion, but good on them for actually implementing this before all the major releases start coming out. I don't understand how that deal didn't happen earlier. Baffles me, but hey, you can now watch HBO Max on Roku, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's get back into your guys' questions. Oh, and you said to watch HBO Max on... See, now technically, what's happening here with HBO Max showing all these new movies, This is their plan going forward for at least the next year. Now, if things change, that could change as well. But it's a really enticing reason to go subscribe to HBO Max for $15 a month. You get brand new movies. That's almost too good of a deal. And as far as the Batman coming to HBO Max, well, maybe by the time the Batman comes out, which it was delayed, maybe theaters will be back open and Batman will actually come out in theaters first. The next one is from Landon. John, I just finished all of my finals and I'm done with my first semester of 12th grade. This live stream is just what I needed at the perfect time. Well, thanks, Landon, and good luck with all of your schooling and 12th grade. I remember 12th grade. It was high school. I remember by 12th grade, I'm done. Like I only needed a few credits to graduate. And by the last semester of school, I only had to go to school for like an hour a day to get like one more credit I somehow forgot to get. So after that first class in the morning, I would leave school at like 10 o'clock. And then I'd have the rest of the day to do whatever I wanted to my 12th grade year in high school. That was a good time. James Doshier, hey John, what do you prefer, Spider-Man 2002 or Spider-Man 2004? For me, it's Spider-Man 2002. Yeah, a lot of people say the second Spider-Man movie is the best one with Doc Ock, and though I think it's a good movie, I actually prefer the first one as well too. I like the origin story of Spider-Man. I like Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. I like the final battle of the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. It's pretty gruesome when you watch it. I mean, there's like blood. He's all tattered up. I mean, the Green Goblin gets stabbed in his midsection. Don't tell Harry. Like, I like it. I actually prefer it. I think it, for me, it's more rewatchable than the second Spider-Man movie. I didn't like Doc Ock all that much. I thought he was sort of a boring villain. I thought the final climax of the movie wasn't better than the 2002 Spider-Man movie. And we sort of had to go through all the Uncle Ben stuff again. And plus in the first Spider-Man movie in 2002, you had the Bonesaw scene in the wrestling match. Bonesaw won't break you. Yeah, I just had more enjoyment. Abinash Mahotny, seeing the list of Disney movies, Martin is crying. Martin is crying. Who the hell is Martin? And I don't get the reference. Who's Martin? I don't know. Alan Wedgill, are you gonna watch Dune on Christmas? Is Dune coming out in Christmas? Did they also say Dune was coming out? I thought Dune was coming out later. Now I'm going to check on this. I thought they pushed that back to October. What? Hang on. So Dune is now coming out to Disney or HBO Max earlier than October? Okay. Or is this the original release date? Hang on. I gotta investigate this for a second. I thought this was, yeah. Dune's delayed till October 1st, 2021. So it's not coming out on Christmas, man. It was delayed. It was delayed months ago. You confused me and scared me and frightened me all at the same time. So probably not. Carter Lovejoy, Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider. Yeah, if you're going to have a new Ghost Rider movie, Keanu Reeves is the only person I want to see play Johnny Blaze. Yeah. Keanu Reeves, yeah. And plus the guy likes to ride motorcycles in reality, so that only makes sense. Jordan, sup, John? I know this is an off topic, but did you hear the news about Pornhub deleting more than 10 million videos overnight? Well, that's a crime against humanity. No, I didn't hear that. I'll have to go check that out later. Lone Tiger, hey John, how are you and how was your week? How has your week been? Well, I'm learning how to read still, so it's going well in that regard. But how are you watching Wonder Woman in theaters or HBO Max? I'm watching it AMC Dolby Cinema because even though it's being released on 4K and HBO Max, the quality will be better in the cinema. Sometimes did HBO Max actually upgrade their quality to 4K? I know for a while it wasn't in 4K. So If they actually have 4K on HBO Max, yeah, I was planning on watching on HBO Max the entire time. I'm sorry, it's just way more convenient, especially if it's coming out on Christmas. I don't want to like go celebrate Christmas, open presents, leave, go to the movie theater, and go through the hassle of paying $20 for Wonder Woman in the theater when I already have HBO Max and I'll just watch it at home. And so that sounds way more convenient. But if you like the ritualistic, cathartic experience of going to the movie theater to watch the movie, then hey, so be it, man. Go check it out. Now, if it was one of my favorite movies or most anticipated movies coming out, and I really wanted to see it on the big screen and maybe like IMAX, maybe something along those lines, where I needed that big screen experience, I would probably go see it at some point. But no, I will be watching Wonder Woman at home in the comfort and sanctity of my house on Christmas Day. Plus, if you have a nice TV and a nice surround sound system, it's like, what's the point anymore? Carter Lovejoy. My most 3 anticipated 4Ks for 2021: Aliens 35th Anniversary, Space Jam, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well, awesome, man. And I hope you buy them. Aliens 4K is a necessity. I agree. Ferris Bueller, also one of my favorite movies of all time. Space Jam, I probably would not buy on 4K. Probably not. I almost feel like the DVD of Space Jam is sufficient for me. I don't know why. Stephen Myers, random thought: Chris O'Donnell would have made a good 90s Green Arrow. Also, Loki and WandaVision look good. Have a great day. Well, thanks. Oh, Stephanie Myers. Did I say Steven? Once again, I'm still trying to learn how to read. Thanks for the question, Stephanie. I did forget to mention, once again, I take no notes for this live stream. So everything I say, I'm just remembering certain things, or I just answer your questions and hope for the best. But yeah, I did forget to mention Loki. Loki did look really good, and I like the aspect that they're going with it. And I will say this, I'm going to pat myself on the back for a second here. Years ago, and you can watch this during a Movie Fights episode, someone asked what would be the best MCU series to make. And I said a Loki series, because he's always getting into mischief. And I was like, that could be a really good TV series. And we're getting that. And it's exactly what I sort of wanted it to be. Now, I also like how it's sort of like a time period series where it's like taking place in the 1960s, the 70s, and it might jump around a little bit. I like that. To me, that's fascinating. And I liked how in the trailer for Loki, you sort of had like a B.D. Cooper vibe going on, where he's like hijacking a plane and jumping out of it. And if you don't know who B.D. Cooper is, look up the true life story. But the thing that gets me excited about the Loki series is I hope that it borrows and references past historical real life events that happened and somehow manipulate those and tie them in with the series. I think that's a really fascinating aspect that could be cool. I mean, it's sort of reminiscent to what other comic book movies have done. Like you had the X-Men movies where you had Magneto, who basically was in prison at one point for trying to stop the JFK assassination. So tying in a real historical past event into a movie, I like those things. Something about it just makes it more real and interesting and a little bit more visceral to me. Or it's almost like the third Transformers movie, Dark of the Moon, where they sort of tied in the reason that we went to the moon in the first place as a humanity was to get there because there's like a Decepticon or Autobot spacecraft that landed there. So I like when they tie things together like that. It always adds to it. Hang on here. Okay, Carter, nope, answered that. Better Zaga. How about Charlie Hunnam as Ghost Rider? I'm good on Charlie Hunnam. That guy, I don't know why. People like him as an actor. I think he's okay. I just don't think he has that much, like, charisma. So Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider, yes, that to me is necessary. And I think that's like, if I was a studio and I wanted like fans to really get excited for the movie, that's who I would cast. Plus, he just brings something different. Like, he has his own style and vibe. You can't recreate another Keanu Reeves. You just can't. Mason Arnold, thoughts on the movie Chronicle? Chronicle was okay. I watched it maybe once, and it was like one of the better versions of like a found footage movie. And then that director went on to make Fantastic Four stick, essentially ending his career. But yeah, the first Chronicle was okay. That was early Michael B. Jordan, right? Watched it once, never watched it again. So, Rando Commando 41. By the way, earlier, Crando, you gave me a really generous super chat, so much appreciated, man. And I answered your question, but thanks for it. I just saw it again on here. All right, I know the live stream right now looks a little bit jittery, and I don't know why that is. I keep having that issue. It's something to do with the software I'm using. It really just makes, I don't know why it does this. It just makes it jittery once in a while. But real quick, guys, we're going to continue on with your questions. I'm going to keep talking about movies, whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm going to get another drink real quick, and I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Don't leave. And as a wise man once said, I'll be back. And I'm back. Hope you didn't go anywhere. I was trying to fix the technical issue, and I did. I think it just starts getting jittery for no reason. I'm gonna have to look into that, but I think it's good now. I just have to like turn my camera off and turn it back on. It's just annoying. The next question came in here, and it's you're fond of me lobster. Great movie, The Lighthouse. Have you seen Wild at Heart? Crazy Nick Cage, Willem Dafoe playing a trashy weirdo, lots of violence and wild sex scenes with a young Laura Dern. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. I've seen the trailer. That alone is crazy enough, but I do want to watch the movie, and I would love to see like crazy balls to the wall Willem Dafoe with Nick Cage. Like, that just sounds like a good time, so I need to really watch it. All right, the next one here. Pulp Fiction is overrated in my opinion. But you have to state reasons why. I don't know how to argue that. I disagree with that. I think it's phenomenal. It was like when Pulp Fiction came out in 1994. Not many movies have been done like that. And I remember watching it as a kid and being a little bit confused about it because the movie isn't told in chronological order. But it was always one of those movies that every year I got older, I appreciated it more and comprehended a little bit more about it. And then one day, the pawn shop basement scene with the gimp made a lot of sense to me. All right, the next one. Have you seen Enemy at the Gates? I have seen Enemy at the Gates. It's been a while. But yeah, it's I liked it. I remember little bits about it. I remember it was like a good war movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I saw that on DVD years ago. Hopefully John does a Christmas shopping vlog. I didn't go Christmas shopping this year, and I'm not going to. I told everyone this year, I'm sorry, 2020 section, you're not getting shit. And you don't have to give me anything either. And that just makes life so much easier, because what you do during Christmas time is you say, you know what, rather than buy people shit that they don't want and don't need, and they buy me shit that I don't want and don't need, how about I just buy myself shit that I don't want and don't need? So that's the motto that my family's going with this year. Unless you're a little kid, like, what's the point? Just enjoy the holidays. That's my motto these days. But I would like to go sledding. All right, the next one comes from Still Force. Mark Wahlberg in The Departed is the best. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself. Where's your mother? He's at home fucking my mother. What'd I just say? Where's your father? He's at home fucking my mother. Yeah, that's how the line goes. I love Mark Wahlberg's like supporting role in The Departed. It's truly great. He just chews up the scenery, and plus he gets the final scene of the movie, which is great. I love it. Let's see. Alex Carr. I don't know if you ever came across the movie, but there's a movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan that recently came out called Iron Mask. I'm not sure what it's about, but Jackie Chan and Arnold in the same movie sounds pretty cool. Yeah, weren't they also in another movie? Was it Around the World in 80 Days or something like that? Where there was another really bad Arnold movie that he starred in that was like delayed forever and ever and ever. Maybe it's the one you're referring to. But I haven't seen it, and I don't know if I want to. Lucas Branowskowitz. Django is Tarantino's best movie, in my opinion. Lucas, me and you agree. Because when it comes to Tarantino movies, Django Unchained is my personal favorite. I rewatched that film probably no less than 50 times. It's truly my favorite movie he's ever done. I think it gets everything just right, and it just gives me everything I want to see from a movie. So yeah, and if Tarantino makes another movie in the future, like I feel like he's done the West justice. Like I feel like he's done what he can with like the 1900s or 1800s Western movies. But I would like to see him do, imagine this, imagine a Tarantino sci-fi movie set in the future. Give me that Tarantino movie. I want to see that. Max Neugenbauer. Every December 7th, I watched Pearl Harbor to honor the memories of those who died. Love the movie, despite the hate it's gotten. The acting was terrific. Yeah, Pearl Harbor, everything except for the battle scene I thought was pretty horrible. It just felt so hokey and cheesy, and I think another director could have done much more with the film than Michael Bay, because he gave it that typical Michael Bay style over substance vibe. But that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoy it, man. Winners F the prom queen. Great quote by Sean Connery. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Thoughts on the political movies about George W. Bush with Dick Cheney, Vice. Yeah, I watched the movie Vice. I liked it. Definitely not the most rewatchable movie, but I enjoy a good political movie. And it's truly fascinating when you watch it, when you watch the ins and outs of how politics are run. It really almost makes you lose faith. And, but yeah, it's like the way they got Dick Cheney, who was essentially just a businessman who didn't really give a shit, who just wanted some power to push his own interest, which is essentially what he did in that leadership role. It's a truly fascinating movie that it scared me when I watched it. I was like, wow, that all really happened. It's almost scary. Just JDD24. Hey, John, have you ever watched Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg? Instant Family. I don't think I have watched Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg. No, I have not. I don't think I have. Is it good? I'll have to look into it. The other thing I really need to do is I need to move this microphone over to there. That would make my life so much better, and I think I'm going to do that. I wish I did it before this podcast. But yeah, I'm tired. I just don't like turning my head this much. All right. The other thing here, let's see. I live for John's imitations. Yeah, they're not good. I would almost say they're terrible, but thank you for that. Thank you for the support. Is the fanatic good? That's like saying, is oxygen necessary? Is water wet? Have you seen Parasite? Have you seen my videos? Go watch my top 10 movies of 2019. I hated the third act of Hateful Eight. I liked the third act of Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight to me is the most underrated Tarantino movie ever made. Like, I rewatch that all the time. I don't know why. I love movies that take place in one location, one setting. And Hateful Eight does that to perfection. And the thing that drives that movie is just the great dialogue, the characters, the suspense of it. It's just like a near perfect movie to me. And it's one of those perfect movies I watch in the wintertime because the Hateful Eight, there's a blizzard going on and they're in a haberdashery. And it's just something about the movie so cozy to watch. And I know there's going to be murder and a lot of blood and guts and gore coming, but I just really enjoy the movie. It's almost relaxing and slightly, it's almost therapeutic to watch it, in my opinion. Did you rewatch Tenet with subtitles? Not yet. Not yet. I am going to rewatch the 4K physical copy of Tenet. I'm going to listen to see if I can actually hear the dialogue in the movie this time. I'm hoping I can, but I have a feeling I won't. And if I can't, I will turn on the subtitles to actually hear what the characters are saying. That way I can give a shit about what happens during the plot of the movie. Yes, I will. Is there a movie that you hate that everyone praises? What is it? I would say recently, I wouldn't even go out so far as to say I hate it. It's just like I didn't understand what people liked about it. Maybe A Star is Born. It got all this critical praise, but I'm like, this is like the fourth remake of the same story being told about two characters who are almost like, you know what it is? I hate love stories about two people that truly are toxic to each other, where the story tries to make you care about both characters, but I just don't give a shit because I'm like, you guys would both be better if you've never met, but watching them try to force a relationship, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I hope you guys just end up in a crevice somewhere. I don't care what happens to you. So A Star is Born is one of those movies. God, I feel like I just was going off on a tangent. I could have said much more, but yeah, I didn't care. I just got Tenet on 4K. The audio wasn't better. Yeah, I didn't think it would be. I didn't imagine Christopher Nolan changing his mind randomly for the Blu-ray release. I just didn't see that happening. So yeah, that's unfortunate. It really is. I don't know what it is with Nolan and his audio tracks. It's like he doesn't want you to hear what the actors are saying, but he wants to like increase the volume of the score higher than it should ever be, and then decrease the volume of the dialogue track. It's an odd decision. I don't know why he does that. He sort of started, he's been doing that for a while now, but it never gotten as blatantly annoying as it was in Tenet. Like, he's done it in a few past movies, but it was acceptable. Like, it wasn't, like, it sort of made sense at some points. I remember like watching The Dark Knight Rises, and that's where I really started to pick up on it. But I was like, okay, I get what you're doing here. But yeah, with Tenet, it just, it got a little much. Patrick John says, I'm sick of Nolan. He's become so pretentious and full of himself. I think he's still a great filmmaker and he has great ideas, and he truly wants to make big spectacle blockbuster movies that are original, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that he wants to shoot films. He wants to make films with actual film. You know, he doesn't want to go digital. He wants to use IMAX, 70 millimeter cameras. I like that. I do like those things. I just think sometimes... Yeah, he gets a little full of himself sometimes. Yeah, it is kind of getting a little bit self-indulgent at this point. But with that said, who am I to criticize Christopher Nolan, man? I mean, he's given me some of my favorite movies of all time. So, I mean, lately he is hit or miss, but maybe he'll come back around. What is my least favorite Nolan movie? I mean, in recent years, I see the thing with Nolan movies lately is I don't hate them. I just don't like them as much as I want to. Like Dunkirk. I loved Dunkirk the first time I saw it. I liked the spectacle of it. But then I tried to rewatch it again on 4K and I was like, I can't get through this. It's sort of not fun. It sort of got boring. Like the same thing I could say with Interstellar. Like I like the spectacle. I like everything to do with space and that concept of space and time travel and that route of going through black holes and the time paradox. But I can't rewatch the movie often. So my least favorite Nolan movie, I mean, maybe Insomnia, but I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just the one that I don't really go back and rewatch. Like when I think of like a Christopher Nolan movie, I don't really think of the style of Insomnia. Do you like the Avengers? Yeah, I do. Do you think movie theaters are too loud? I feel like you would get hearing loss. There's been a few times I've been in the movie theater where the audio is way too loud, and it depends what kind of theater you go into or what kind of technology they're utilizing. So if you go to like a Dolby Digital theater, like an AMC Dolby Digital theater, the sound is great in those. Like it's to perfection. The seat rattles, like it shakes with the sound. It's truly immersive. Now, sometimes when you go to an IMAX presentation or a LIMAX presentation of a movie, the picture quality looks really cool, but the downside is they always crank up the IMAX audio a little too loud for its own good. And I don't like, it's almost too loud to where you can't really enjoy the movie. So I would say sometimes, yeah, I remember, the majority of the IMAX showings of movies were always too loud. Like I remember seeing, what was it? The first Thor movie in IMAX, and it was like too loud. And I think one of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek Into Darkness, maybe I saw that in IMAX, and it was a little bit too loud. Like when you had a quiet scene, you're like almost relieved. You're like, oh, my ears are going to stop bleeding now. It feels so good. The next one comes from a Streamlabs question from James. Which of the Mummy movies is the best with Brendan Fraser? Oh, dude, the first Mummy, 1999, was phenomenal. That was the perfect example of how you can make a big budget B movie, and that was great. That's what I wanted them to do with the dark universe of movies with Universal. And they didn't ever really continue that route. I mean, you had a few Mummy sequels, and they got worse as they went on. But yeah, I loved the first one. Benny says, recently rewatched Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It may be Edgar Wright's best film. 10th anniversary 4K coming. Yeah, it was okay. I liked some of the visuals in the movie. I don't love that movie. I think if you go to Edgar Wright, I think his more simplistic earlier films were better. Like I'd rather watch Hot Fuzz again than Scott Pilgrim. I would probably rather watch Baby Driver, which I really enjoyed, over Scott Pilgrim. Alex Carr, Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers is one of the best bad movies in existence. Not as bad as Fanatic or The Room, but still over the top bad. Yeah, I've never seen Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. It just came out at a weird time where I'm like, I don't need to watch live action Dr. Seuss films. Dr. Seuss. Yeah, I called him Dr. Zeus. Live action Dr. Seuss films. Because when those movies came out, I was a teenager, and I was like, I don't want to go watch the Cat in the Hat movie. I was like, I'm good, man. I was like, let's go watch V for Vendetta. All right, the next one comes from Z White. Yo, Flick. Was good, my G. Come on down to Rhode Island and smoke. Take some dabs with me, dog. Talk about your weed experiences. I paid you, so answer. I will. I'll do it. I'll tell you. As this camera's all jittery again for no reason. God, I hate this software. Why does it have to suck ass so much? Why does it have to be jittery? I don't get why it has to be jittery. Why is that? I don't know. Let me answer your question. Real quick, let me do this. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. I'm not leaving. You guys can still hear me, right? I'm just resetting my camera. I'm turning it back on. And that fixes it. Why does that fix it? It's so stupid. Okay. So weed experiences go. I've never been a big fan of it. I tried it in high school a few times just to be cool and hang out with my friends. Just never was for me. Never a big guy. I don't like smoke in general. I don't like smoke going into my lungs. Now I will put alcoholic beverages into my internal organs any day of the week. I'm more of a social drinker than ever a fan of smoking weed or anything. So that's always just been my thing. Give me a Jack and Coke any day. I'll take it. All right. Let's answer a few more questions here. I saw a really good one here and I missed it. Let's see. DJ Run01. On average, how many times do you fart during a single live stream? Honestly, probably once or twice at most. That's the truth. I don't know what it is. I just have no urge during the live stream. I think so much air is coming out of my mouth. It doesn't need to go anywhere else. When's your next vlog? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know. But I did, with that said, I did find some footage that I thought I lost. And it's when I went to go to see New Mutants months and months ago. I found the footage and I might put that together and make like a lost video found, a lost and found video. I don't know. If you guys want to see that, let me know. The found footage of the Flick Trip video. Patrick John says, if you want to relax a movie, you watch American Gigolo from the 1980s with Richard Gere. I've seen it. I don't think it's all that relaxing, but I have seen it. All right. And by the way, if you guys are YouTube members here on this channel, big thanks to you guys for joining me and being members. And if you guys are members, feel free to ask some questions right now. I'll read every single thing that you guys put in the chat right now. I'm paying very close attention to the live chat, so ask away. And by the way, if you guys are YouTube members or Patreon supporters, we just recorded a brand new episode of the podcast today, which is exclusively for YouTube members and Patreon supporters. It's like a big thank you to you guys. It's going to be about an hour and a half long, and we talked about so much shit in this podcast, and we also answer I also answer supporter questions in the podcast, so that's coming very soon, probably tomorrow with a giveaway. So look out for that. What do I think about Mandalorian season 2? I really like it. It's exactly what it should be. You know, every episode is like, it's almost like a live action cartoon in a way that makes me happy. And most of the episodes, the plot pretty much it feels like a side quest from an RPG video game or something. Like, I love them. Some of the episodes, typically the pattern I notice with the Mandalorian show is you have a huge episode, then you sort of have the filler episode, then you have another huge episode, then you have the filler episode. That's sort of been what's happening. But even those filler episodes I find highly entertaining. So I really enjoy it. And I can't wait to see what goes down in the season finale. Like, I'm so excited to see what happens. Like, there's actually character development and character arcs and things happen. It's perfect. It's everything it should be. Have you ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Yes, I have. Not one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies. Oh, no, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah, with Nicolas Cage. Yes. Hang on. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp. Yeah, okay. Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage. You got me all confused. I just went to Las Vegas, by the way. Yeah, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp. not one of my favorite movies. It's like weird and bizarre, and I get it. It's almost like you're watching the movie as you're on acid. I never really liked the movie. Like, I just don't enjoy watching it. Z White, have you ever smashed on the first date? Absolutely. 9 out of 10. Alex Carr, did you hear about Tom Cruise's outbreak on the Mission Impossible set? Yeah, I did. I talked about that earlier in the live stream, so go check it out. Just scroll back to the beginning and watch it after it's over. What sports do you watch? I don't really watch any sports. Could care less about sports. I actually find them boring. But if I had to watch sports, probably like MMA. I watch a lot of professional wrestling, not so much anymore, but I used to. So if you want to qualify that as a sport. DJ Run 1, what do you think of the movie W, where Josh Brolin plays George W. Bush? I like Josh Brolin's interpretation of George Bush. I thought it was good. I saw the movie years ago. I don't recall a lot about it, but it was never one of my favorite political movies. Fazela Haiti? Is it Fazea Haiti? Am I the only one who thinks the Tom Cruise audio rant was staged? No, I don't think it was staged at all. First of all, Tom Cruise is he's very controlled in his public perception sometimes, and I don't think he would willingly put out a rant like that. I just don't think he would. And if he wanted to, he wouldn't have used some of the language he did, especially if he had a choice in it being put out. So no, I don't think it was staged whatsoever. I really don't. I think he would have almost gave more of a speech that couldn't be taken the wrong way. So no, I don't think it was staged. Roger, Welp, Noah Hawley is executive producer for the upcoming Alien TV series, Aliens with No Xenomorph. Anyways, how are you doing? Yeah, I don't know the details of that series, but Aliens with No Xenomorph doesn't make any sense. Now, if you wanted to do a Prometheus series with no xenomorph, okay, that makes sense. I can see that. You're going on a space exploration, looking for life, maybe looking for the different civilizations of how that was created, and you could have the engineers in there doing whatever. That would make sense. But yeah, calling it aliens without xenomorphs is kind of stupid. Max Neugenbauer, I think The Cat in the Hat is very underrated. Mike Myers was the perfect casting choice. Once again, I don't think I've ever really watched the movie. I don't dislike Mike Myers, but I think Jim Carrey as the Grinch was a better casting choice. Maybe. Just JDD24 became a member. Well, yay. Thanks, man. Lone Tiger, how often do you watch a movie from your collection? Do you ever fear that if you rewatch it too many times, you'll get bored by it? I've held off on watching my collection because I just keep the excitement up forever. That's an odd way of looking at it. No, if I want to watch a movie, I watch that movie. And to be honest with you, when you see all those movies back there on my shelf, I probably watch like one shelf full of movies over and over again. The rest of the movies are sort of just there to make me feel better about who I am and what I'm doing in life. But I probably watch the same 40 movies over and over again. And randomly, I'll pick a random old movie to watch. But typically, I watch the same movies over and over again. That's what I do. But how often do I watch them? Not as often as I would like, because sometimes I'm just so lazy, I'll just watch whatever's like on some streaming service. But if I get in the mood to watch a specific movie, I will come to the physical media and whip that out. Sort of relating to the same question. I don't know. Doyle Status, would you rather watch a new release on just physical media Blu-ray or stream it in 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision? I'd stream. need the bigger color palette. Yeah, it just really depends. It really does. So you're comparing 1080p to 4K. That's a significant difference. Yeah, I'd probably go with the streaming of HDR, sure. But the thing is, with streaming and the picture quality, it's never true. It's never true 4K. You can still see the compression and some of the bitrate issues going on there, because even 4K, when it comes to streaming, is still slightly compressed compared to what it would be on physical. But you're going backwards and saying I have to pick a Blu-ray now. The thing about Blu-ray audio is it might be better, and it probably is better than whatever you're streaming, because the streaming audio is so limited. I feel like the streaming audio is never as good as any physical copy of a movie with its audio tracks that you get. So I don't know. That's a tough one to pick from. I'd almost like to do a test of that. Like pick a movie that's streaming right now in 4K and then watch it on Blu-ray and do a true comparison. I don't know. That could be interesting. As far as the 4K, as far as HDR goes and the color palette, let me tell you something about HDR. Half the time, that's a marketing term. Now, is there HDR? Yes, but what's happening is they're making the brights brighter and the darks darker while almost increasing the vividness of the color tone. Sometimes you watch a movie in HDR and it's not exactly how that movie originally looked. Like they're increasing things to a maximum. So sometimes HDR isn't always that great. I've noticed, I've seen some bad examples of HDR where they took it a little too far to put that HDR logo on it to say, oh, it's HDR, but really it's just the movie's slightly more vivid, and the some of the dark scenes are a bit darker than almost they should be. So sometimes if you turn HDR off, it gives the picture a more neutral look to where you can almost notice the details more, which doesn't make any sense, but I've noticed that. It's almost like HDR just makes things a bit more contrasty. That's generally have no, and if you have a TV that says HDR, and sometimes that's a lie because they're just upping the contrast of what's happening. But HDR can be hit or miss. But when it's done right, it looks really good. Claudia Rogajon, heard you tried to watch Home Alone 3. One thing that always bugged me was the traps were so precise he'd have to know exactly the body shape to work. I hate Home Alone 3 with a passion. I hated it ever since I was a kid. It's so junky and terrible and boring, and it lacks all humanity that the first two movies had. I mean, what can you quote from Home Alone 3? I can't quote a damn line from it. But when you think of Home Alone 1 and 2, they're so quotable. You can just, every scene is memorable. And oddly enough, all three movies were written by John Hughes. But when it comes to Home Alone 3, I'll tell you the backstory real quick if you want to hear it. And even if you don't want to hear it, I'm going to tell you anyways. When it came to John Hughes, who wrote the Home Alone movies, the first three at least, he actually had a deal with Fox Studios, a 5-picture deal. And when it came to his 5-picture deal, the last one in that deal was Home Alone 3. And you could just tell by the end of it, he was like, I don't give a shit. This is almost an obligation. Here you go. Now, some of the original ideas behind Home Alone 3 were actually really interesting. There was way bigger, better ideas. He actually wanted the Wet Bandits to come back and make it feel like a real Home Alone movie, but they didn't want to return. So then he had to go a completely different route and just make it a whole separate story. And it's just, there was nothing better about it. Like, I can't think of one redeeming quality about Home Alone 3. I really can't. And the furthest I can make it into the movie, the other day I tried to watch it on Disney Plus and I made it 48 minutes into the movie. And I was like, I don't give a shit about this. I hope the criminals get a hold of little Alex and decapitate him. That's, it got dark right there. I'm sorry, but I just didn't like the movie. Okay. Faisal Hattie, do you own any Criterion Collection films? I seem to get that question at least 5 times a week. Yes, I do. My favorite one, I would say, as far as like a physical copy, the picture quality, and like the case and the release itself, would probably be Dazed and Confused. That's probably my favorite Criterion movie that I do in fact own. DJ Runo 1, least masculine movie that you love. Uh, that's a weird question, man. And to answer that off the top of my head would be near impossible. I don't know. The Lindsay Lohan movie, Mean Girls. Yeah, there you go. There's a good one. I'll go with that. Max Neugenbauer, Home Alone 3 is just as great as the first two. Max, you're a liar, you're a thief, and everything you just said is upside down and wrong and backwards. But I do respect your opinion, though I will never agree with it. I think you were joking, but if you're not, hey, I'm glad you enjoy the movie. I hate it. Joseph Jackson, hey, John, what actor or actress would you like to see team up with director to make a movie? I would like to see Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling in the same movie. It's a heist movie. I would like James Cameron to possibly be the director. It's a huge spectacle movie, and I would like to see that. There you go. There's my movie. Oh, and it's futuristic. It's set in the future. Not too far, like 30 years in the future. Sounds good to me. DJ Reno 1, what is your favorite charity? I don't know. I don't think I like charities to where, well, let me think. I guess it depends. I don't know. I mean, I think charities that feed people and put shelters over people's heads are really good. Maybe a charity of that. But the thing, most charities, though they're not for profit, they still get a big profit. The thing with the biggest, when you look into charities, by the way, we're going off on a tangent here. But when you go to donate to charities, definitely do your research on them, because some charities, if you donated, say, $100, at the end of the day, the people who need that money might see $20 of that $100. The rest goes into the company that runs the charity, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And that's my problem with most charities. 1901, favorite Wolfgang Peterson movie other than Troy. Aw, you took it away from me. Well, my favorite Wolfgang... Let me see. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's look up some Wolfgang Peterson movies. Troy's by far my favorite. Oh, The Neverending Story. Okay. The Perfect Storm was good. Air Force One I never really loved. Wow, he directed Poseidon from 2006. Okay, that was felt like a big budget B movie. I don't know. I don't have any other real favorite Wolfgang Peterson movies. Did he direct Bicentennial Man? That might be my second favorite. No, that's Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone 1 and 2. So I'm going to go with Troy. I'll just stick with Troy. Tyson Sherborne, do you think Black Widow will go to theaters? Well, maybe, but I also think Disney Plus, if they haven't already, I think they might bring Black Widow to Disney Plus. I could truly see that happening. Now, I don't know maybe it has by this point. I don't think it has. But yeah, I could, if once May rolls around and things aren't quite back to normal, which they should be by then, in my opinion, but if it's not, I could see them having a small theatrical release of Black Widow and releasing it on Disney Plus around the same time to almost compete with HBO Max. At least I would hope they did that, because you can't delay things anymore. It's almost tiresome. Jacob Franklin, hey John, have you seen the new David Fincher film Mank? If so, what are your thoughts? Love the vids, by the way. Well, thanks, Jacob. I have not seen Mank. I was really looking forward to it, and I didn't really hear a lot of good things about the movie. I heard it was good, but it just felt a little bit soulless and flat, and you didn't really care. But with that said, I do like time period films, and I do like how it's based on a true story and sort of the making of Citizen Kane. That intrigues me. But at the same time, maybe I'd rather just watch a documentary about the making of Citizen Kane, maybe. So yeah, I'm going to check out Mank. I've been meaning to do it, and I will definitely get around to it. I love Fincher, so I can't imagine it's a bad film. I just don't know how much I'm going to like it, though. Claudia Rogajon, Spider-Man 3 is sounding like the original. Too many characters in it, but I feel like they are just going to be passed by cameos like you see in Demencio. I can read. I don't know. I'm throw everything in the movie. It's just how you balance it. It's how you write a script. If you guys ever wanted to see a Sinister Six movie, which everyone wanted to see, there's a lot of villains in that movie. How else do you make a movie like that, right? So that's more or less what we're getting right now. I mean, everyone loved Into the Spider-Verse. Did you guys count how many villains there were in that movie? But people still loved it. Why? Because they handled it right. So there's the proof of concept. Night King 01, favorite. Oh, we already answered that. Benny said Home Alone 4 is the best. Benny, Home Alone 4, I think I watched like 14 seconds of one clip, and I was like, I'm good. I'm done here. Jack Leem says, I recently did a count of all my physical media with Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs. I have close to 1,600. Would you say that is too many? No, you can never have enough. As long as you enjoy it, it makes you happy, and you have all the movies you like, so be it. I have a shit ton of DVDs over here that I don't watch. I haven't watched a DVD in 3 years. I probably will never watch another one, but I still have them all back here. I don't know why. If anyone lives in the Columbus area and you would like to buy my DVDs, let me know. I will sell them to you. I don't need them. At this point, they're just background props. Now, there's probably like 10 DVDs I'll keep for nostalgic purposes, but if you guys want to buy my DVDs, let me know. Send me a message on Twitter. I'll sell them to you for a really good price, and I'll give you a high five and a hug. Do you like the Santa Claus movies? I love the original Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I love that movie. That is a true great Christmas movie. And I remember seeing it in theaters with my dad. Maybe I should share that in an upcoming magical and mystical movie memory segment with you guys. Maybe I will. I don't necessarily remember the experience in detail, though, so that might be hard. But yeah, I love the first Santa Claus. Everything after that was bad. I just remember when Martin Short played like Jack Frost or something in one of the movies. Ugh, so bad. DJ Run 01, have you thought about trading your energy drinks for kombucha? No, never, man. I could never give these up. Fun backstory. Like 10 minutes before shooting the podcast, or not shooting the podcast, before shooting the live show tonight, I was starving, and everything closes at 10 o'clock in the Columbus area. So what I had to do to get food was I had 22 minutes or 28 minutes before I had to be here live to talk to you guys about movies and answer your glorious questions. But I ordered Chipotle online. I had to go pick it up. The line took forever. They forgot my chips. Pissed me off. I got my chips. So I had 2 Chipotle burritos ready to go. Then I swung into the gas station going 100 miles per hour. By the way, it's snowing out, so I slid into the gas station. I bought 2 energy drinks, two Diet Pepsis. Then I flew home going another 98 miles per hour through the snow. And I got here 2 minutes before I had to do the live stream, and I put the Chipotle burritos in the refrigerator, and they're waiting on me right now to go consume them immediately after this live stream. I'm so hungry. Should I just go get the burritos now and eat them with you guys? I almost want to. So I don't. Oh yeah. So energy drinks. Yes, that's what led me into that. Okay. Answer a few more questions here. Dan5271, hello Johnny, how are you? Well, I'm good, man. How are you? And thanks for the super chat, much appreciated. And guys, once again, thank you guys for the super chats. I do appreciate it so much. You guys make YouTube videos honestly possible these days because I take the money and I actually buy things with it that help make YouTube videos. Like I bought this new arm here to use as a microphone arm because my last one sort of broke. So yeah, thank you guys. Let me continue on with your question though. How How will you be watching Wonder Woman 1984 theater or HBO Max? Now, I had that question earlier, and if you go back, you'll hear me talk all about that, and I went into great detail. But I'll probably just be watching it at home Christmas Day on HBO Max. Why would I leave to go watch it? Like, and especially on Christmas Day, like that's a pretty busy day for me, and I won't have time to go to the theater, but I will have time to watch it at home. So yeah, I'll probably watch it at home. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like if Wonder Woman 84 was coming out into theaters here in the US 3 days earlier than it was coming to HBO Max, I would probably go to the theater to see it early. I would. But when it comes out the same day, the same time in the theater and HBO Max, it's like, I don't know. It almost doesn't make any sense to go to the theater to see it. Night King 01, can we talk about Cobra Kai Season 3 trailer? Well, hell yeah, we can. We'll talk about it right now. I enjoy it. I loved it, and I can't wait to see it. Cobra Kai is sort of like what Mandalorian does, where it takes me back to like a happy place. Cobra Kai does the same thing, right? It's not apologetic. It doesn't try to be something it's not. It's just pure, unadulterated fun, and that's what I like from Cobra Kai. The new trailer, there's some interesting stuff. I don't remember specifically every element of it, but I like where the season's going. It gets me excited. So yeah, Cobra Kai, man. It's coming out in a couple weeks, right? Coming out at the end of December, isn't it? Or early January? Claudia Rogajon. You ever get constipated by energy drinks? No, the complete opposite, actually. Caffeinated beverage actually open up your colon and make it more blood pulsate into it, releasing all that. So caffeine is what you need. So yeah, your conceptions are wrong about caffeinated beverages, man. If anything, you need to drink one once in a while. It'll help you. It just evens you right out. Just JDD24, ever watch Jack Frost with Michael Keaton? Yeah, I have seen Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. It is sort of a sad and depressing movie. And it is kind of weird. It's like his dead father comes back in the form of Jack Frost, but it can only last for so long, right? He kind of gets that one more magical experience with his father before he melts away, right? It's a nice, endearing movie, and I remember liking it. But I haven't seen it since, the 90s. Jacob Franklin, hey, John, how do you stay mentally fit? Any tips? Deep down inside, I'm a dark void of dilapidated mucous membranes, and you don't want to know what truly goes on inside of my head. As far as being mentally fit, would I say I'm a little screwed up? I'm not going to lie to you. Deep down inside, I'm a little bit screwed up. But I think I'm mentally strong is the thing. It takes a lot to shake me. It really does. But how do I do that? I don't know. I always just step back and I look at things that are worse in life. I always step outside of myself when a situation's bad. I step outside and I think, how much worse could this be? And then maybe I compare that to something else. And I think, you know what? It's not that bad. And if something's temporary, I think, okay, next week, is this going to matter? No. Next year, is this going to matter? Probably not. And once you save the time and hassle of going through the motions of having a bad day, and you just think, you know what? Is this bad day going to matter next year? Probably not. Then you just instantly get over it, or you find something else to do. And if something really bad happens, you take it, man. You got to take it and tell yourself there's only so much you can do in life, and you got to make the best out of it. So I don't know. I hope I answered your question there. Or sometimes what I do on a really bad day is I'll curl up in the fetal position and I'll lay on the couch and I'll try to watch a movie that takes me to my happy place. That's the truth. That's what movies are to me. And I've said this once and I'll say it again. Movies to me are little memories that you have, you cherish, and you can put on the shelf and you can relive those memories. So if you're having a bad day and you have a substantial collection of movies, or you have a streaming service, whatever you want to go to, you can go pick a movie that makes you happy, that lifts you up, that makes you forget about your shitty day and just takes you somewhere else for pure escapism for a few hours. So maybe watch a good movie if you're feeling bad. I don't know. So that's how I stay mentally fit. I have my brain do sit-ups. Faiza Haiti, I hope I'm saying your name right. Favorite A24 film? At this point, it might be maybe The Lighthouse. Maybe The Lighthouse. Mr. Keebler. Hey, John. First time catching your live stream. Well, thanks, man. I binged your channel in quarantine and love it. We have the same interest, and you seem like a cool person. Well, thank you. I will take those compliments. I'm not really cool. I'm really boring in real life. Hope all is well. Do you plan to see Wonder Woman at home or in theaters or both? I've answered that last part like 10 times thus far, but I will be watching it at home in my underwear. But thank you for the compliments, man, and thanks for the Streamlabs donation as well. That's odd that you just now caught the first live stream. How did that happen? I do these almost every week. I've done a new live stream almost every week. I probably skipped 3 weeks since February or March. So yeah, thanks for, I don't know how you missed all the other ones though, but thanks for joining me, man. And thank all of you for joining me right now. Much appreciated. Max Nugenbauer, have you memorized who I am yet? Max, I have. There's a lot of you guys who always come in here and comment, and I remember at least 80% of them. Some of you switch your names up often, but a lot of people who always comment, I do remember. But I'm also one of those people that if I saw your face, I can always remember a face with a name much better than just a name. That's just me. Like I'm a visual, I have like a, what's the term? A picturistic, memory. So a photo memory. Obviously I can't remember the term. So yeah. But yeah, I do remember a lot of people who comment all the time. Brian TG23. See, Brian, I don't remember that name. You said you have family in SA, San Antonio. What do you like here? Also, I think you missed my previous super chat, but it wasn't a question, so it's all good. Brian, I thought I answered it, but yeah, I do have family in San Antonio, Texas. My 3 older sisters live there. I've been there a few times. I do like it. It's a nice city. I like the Riverwalk, which is by the Alamo. It's a cool little place you can walk around. Yeah, it's a cool place. It's a huge city, though. Brian, I'm looking for your question here, and it must be deep down in the crevices of this live stream. And I'm scrolling. Did you ask it in the last hour? The reason I probably missed it because it did not pop up. That's might have been the reason. Brian, here it is, man. I found it. Here it is. Hey, John. Been a fan of yours for years. Well, thank you. Have never made it. Did I not just answer this question? You listen to me at 3 a.m. when you're at work. Keep up the great. I swear I answered that earlier, but if I didn't, Brian, thank you once again. And I'm sorry I missed it earlier, man. But thanks. Jason, where is the DCU headed? There isn't a clear path with continuity in the MCU. Is there a broader plan? Well, no, we haven't given them a chance to keep going. I mean, you got to think of this. Endgame was the culmination of everything they had been doing for the last 10 plus years. So now they're going to start a different phase and go a different direction, and it'll probably lead up into a bigger threat. But we really haven't started that new phase yet. So give it time. Those questions will probably be answered in the next few movies coming out from Marvel. So it'll probably be going a direction. We just got to give it time to go that direction. Z White, please give your honest opinion on the god Alex Leyba. Alex Leyba seems like a fun kid. I've always enjoyed his stuff. I've met Alex. I like Alex. He's interesting. I like some of his humor. Yeah, I want to put Alex in a giant pickle jar down in my basement just to watch and see what he does. Whenever I'm feeling a little bit bored or down with my life, I'll go down in the basement, I'll turn the light on and watch what Alex does in that giant pickle jar. And then once I get my fill of it, I'll turn off the light and go back upstairs. Just JDD24 thoughts on the Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Probably one of my least favorite Fincher films. It's intriguing to me. I think the concept is great. Some of the execution gets a little bit boring, but I do like it. It is sort of fascinating, and it makes you look at life and the things, you know, that we take for granted. And I've always enjoyed movies that sort of span the life of a character, like Forrest Gump, for example. Something about that's truly fascinating to me. Like, you see him as a kid, as an adult, as, you know, when he's a little bit older, and you see all these events that he went through. I've always really enjoyed movies like that. All right. Oop. I caught up on all the questions. Awesome. Okay. The next one comes from DJ Run. Congrats to Amber for graduating. Does she have a job lined up? Yeah, Amber did graduate with her master's degree. And she does have a job lined up. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. She's excited. Once again, the camera's fucking up again. Why? If someone can tell me why this camera gets stuttery for no reason, I almost feel like it's something to do with my OBS software. I don't know why it does this. Hang on. I'll just fix it real quick. I got to get this fixed. That's it's really annoying. I just have to turn the camera off and back on again. It's a little, let me try it again. It looks a little screwed up. I don't like it. Hang on. I'm still here, guys. See, I told you guys, you have to have a technical issue with every Flick Pick live show, or else it's not a Flick Pick live show. Let's see if this works. I don't know if that worked. And you know what? If it didn't work, so be it. We'll just do it live. Ooh, it got way darker in here. Let's see if I can fix that. Hang on. I'm going to fix this. Why did it get darker? That's no good. We'll just go with that for now. Okay. See, what I need in these live streams is I need a producer. I need a technical guy to sit behind the camera with two computers in front of him, like Neo from the Matrix, just handling everything and editing it. That's what I really need. Jeffrey Goodwin, thoughts on Tom Cruise's freak out? We actually answered that earlier 2 times. I don't think he said anything I disagree with. Tyson Sherborne, hey John, you missed my question, but I still like you. Well, I like you, Tyson, and I'm sorry. Please forgive my sins against humanity. And let me now look for your question. Oh, here it is. No, I didn't miss it, Tyson. Sometimes it takes me a minute to get back to some of the older questions. So you asked this 9 minutes ago. When do you think people will be more comfortable going back to the theaters, since Disney said Black Widow and others will still be theatrical? Love your videos. Thanks, man. You know, when will people be more comfortable going back to the theaters? Well, we talked about this on the podcast today, and I think it's all sort of a mental conception at this point. So here's what I like to believe. The fact that now we have a vaccine in existence, that instantly sort of makes people feel better about the situation. It's like, okay, worst case scenario, I'll go take this vaccine, and who knows what will happen after you take the vaccine, because there's a lot of unproven things going on, because when you poop out a vaccine as quickly as they did, well, you don't know the long-term effects of it. But if everything goes well and it's really effective, which they're saying it is, that instantly puts sort of a sigh of relief into the public conception of everything's going to be okay and safe again. So I think once people feel better about the situation, then they'll have more confidence in going back to the movie theater once again. But also it's not just people's will to go back to the movie theater. It's also up to like governments. The governments need to lift some mandates and regulations to allow theaters to be open again. And then once theaters can truly be open again and people have the confidence to go back, then the studios will once again start pushing movies back into the theater. So it's really a culmination of different things coming together that need to happen first. So I just think it's the public confidence that needs to return. But then again, it's sort of one of those things that I don't understand how restaurants can be open, but movie theaters aren't really open. But yet again, you can go on an airplane with 250 people packed into a small tube flying 35,000 feet in the sky, sharing the same oxygen with everyone for 4 hours at a time. But you can't go into a movie theater. It just, the logic has been lost. I feel like common sense in 2020 was flushed down the toilet, never to be seen again. So to answer your question, I think the fact that the vaccine exists, solely just based on a vaccine existing, will help everything in the months to come. That's what I think. So the next one comes from Jeffrey Goodwin. Thoughts on Tom Cruise's Freak Out? Or did I already answer that? Yes, I did. Sorry, Jeffrey. Why can I not read your last? Chill Levity. Hi, John. Have you tried Ninja Milk Film Suggests? Ninja Milk? I don't know what Ninja Milk is, man, but it sounds like a delicious drink I'd love to consume. I don't know what it is, though. Film suggest, like suggesting you a film to watch, for example. I would say go watch. By the way, why does this look so out of focus? It looks like crappy. Hang on. Yeah, so anyway, a film that I would suggest to go watch, I don't know, go watch Lord of War from 2005 starring Nicolas Cage. It's a random movie, no one talks about, really good movie, probably one of my favorite movies. Go watch Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage. There's a film suggestion for you, man. Geek Truth 64, as a fan, MCU's future seems lackluster to me. Well, I don't disagree with that, because what we're getting now is the B team coming in to take over, right? You don't have Iron Man, you don't have Captain America, you don't have, you still have Thor, but yeah, I get what you're saying. The culmination of all the truly interesting characters has been done. We did it. Now we're going a different direction somewhere else. But I also think at the same time, Disney/Marvel is going to start taking more risks. And what I mean by that is, with the original phase of the MCU movies, I feel like they had to be very careful with what they did because there was so much on the line. But now, going the new direction they're going, it sort of just sounds like they're going to throw everything into these movies they can and just give fans what they want to see, because at this point, there's almost nothing left to lose. So they can almost go a little bit more bombastic with it and off the rails, and not play it as safe as I guess some of the earlier movies did. So, though I don't disagree with what you're saying, I still think there's a lot of interesting things they can do. I really do. So only time will tell. We'll wait a few movies into it and see where it goes. What I'm truly most excited about is the fact that they own the X-Men property, and the fact that they can now make X-Men movies. That gets me excited. Like, I want to see the new lineup of X-Men movies finally come out and see what they do with that. Like, give me that not real life, but give me the X-Men that are truly like the comic books, or the X-Men like the animated series. Like, just go for it. Stop putting all the X-Men in leather jumpsuits. Like, I'm so tired of that. Claudia Rogajan, have you seen Tomb Raider 2001? Yes, I have. Stuckman said it's a lot of fun. Rented it, turned it off 10 minutes into it. So boring. I blame him for my $3. Yeah, I never liked the first Tomb Raider. I never did. I thought they were boring movies. I just thought they were bad, boring movies with like a lot of money spent on them, or a lot of money wasted for that matter. Yeah, I never liked it. I think maybe his thing was he was just liked looking at Angelina Jolie as a young boy, and I don't blame him for that. So if that's, I more or less, that was my takeaway. Mr. Keebler, so the only Nicolas Cage movie I've seen is Gone in 60 Seconds. I enjoyed it. You often joke about Face Off. It's fun. So why am I curious what I'm so curious what your recommendation top 2 to 3 Nicolas Cage movies would be. You just put a lot of pressure on me, man. You just put so much pressure on me to only tell you 3 Nicolas Cage movies to watch. How do I do that? It just depends what you want. Like Leaving Las Vegas, I would say from an acting performance is probably one of his best movies. But if you want true Nick Cage, I mean, Raising Arizona is a great Nick Cage movie. The funniest Nick Cage movie I've ever seen, the one that he truly just self-indulges, is Bad Lieutenant. I've never laughed harder in a movie. But I don't think it's the best Nicolas Cage movie. Okay. Con Air, The Rock, and Face Off would be like the 3 quintessential 90s action Nicolas Cage movies. But there's so many other great movies he's done. That's a tough question, man. That's too hard. You just go watch all of them. I can't limit it to 3. I can't, but if you want a really good movie, go watch The Rock, starring Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. That's a really good action movie. And if you're still in the action mood, watch Con Air. Not as good as The Rock, but still like really entertaining. Faiza Hattie, best and worst 2020 movie. And are you going to make a top 10 videos at the end of the year? Yes, I probably will, though it will be the hardest top 10 video I ever had to make because I will truly be reaching past number 5. So we'll see. I mean, we have a few movies coming out this year still. One movie I wanted to see that was delayed originally. Oh, sorry. My brain just melted. One movie that was delayed originally was Greenland, starring Gerard Butler, and that's now coming out to VOD tomorrow, which gets me really excited because I love disaster movies. Like, I'm a sucker for disaster movies, and this one sort of looks a little bit toned down and a bit more realistic, and I love that. I love like movies about Earth being destroyed. It truly fascinates me. And deep down inside, the dark part of me wants to live through an experience like that one day. I know that sounds really depressing, doesn't it? But I like to, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have to be that big of a scale, but something smaller. I just want an asteroid to hit Earth. I don't want anyone to die. I want you guys all to live, but I'd like to just live through that somehow. But anyway, yeah, Greenland comes out. I need to watch that. It comes out tomorrow/tonight. So maybe I'll get it on VOD. Does it come out at midnight? I'll look into this. Yeah. Just JDD24. What are your thoughts on Bohemian Rhapsody and its main acting performance? Yeah, I thought the main actor, he's the new Bond villain. I always forget his name. I thought he did a good job. I thought he was good. But as far as the movie goes, it was a very watered down version of the true story. And that to me was sort of a letdown. I just thought it was a very like bland movie. I thought it was very bland. And if you look at the real life story of Freddie Mercury, it's far more fascinating and dark and there's a lot more to it grittiness wise than what was told in the movie. The movie the band sort of had final say on the movie, and you can tell. But yeah, I didn't really like the movie that much. Claudia Rogajon, do you like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? I don't know why I got that question again. I answered it earlier. No, I do not. Jeffrey Goodwin, what do you think is worse, Spider-Man 3 or The Amazing Spider-Man 2? I would say The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Clearly, is far at least Spider-Man 3 has a little bit of humanity to it. It's not good. It's a mess, but there's something there in the movie you can at least grasp onto. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was essentially the modern day version of Batman and Robin. Billy Gold, It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite Christmas movie. What is yours? Also, how many movies do you see a month, new and old? I don't know. I probably watch a few movies a week, maybe 3 movies a week. On average, I would say. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends. I typically watch a lot of YouTube more than anything else. My favorite Christmas movie would probably be Home Alone 1 and 2. And yes, I do put those into the same movie. To me, Home Alone 1 and 2 are the same movie. You can't take that away from me. So I would say Home Alone 1 and 2 are like my favorite Christmas movies. And my biggest guilty pleasure Christmas movie is probably Jingle All the Way. Age of the Keyboard Warrior. The local governments have been given a good amount of power over us because of COVID. Do you think they will ever let go of this power? Well, that's the thing. The government conspiracy theorist in me, typically whenever something disasters happens, there's always a disaster. What we do as people is we give over our power to the government because we're afraid. And we hope the government takes that power and does something reasonable with it to help protect us. And typically, much like any dictatorship, they never release that power. It's just a commonality. You can look back through the history of time. It just happens over and over again. And I don't know how we allow it to happen, but it does. So as far as giving back that power, I don't know. Who knows? At this point, I don't know. I mean, they're already going against the Constitution for half the shit they do. So I don't want to get too political. Though I will. But yeah, I hope so. I really do. Faisa Hattie, thoughts on Manchester by the Sea. It's my favorite movie. I liked Manchester by the Sea. I watched it once, but it was sort of one of those movies that I watched. I sort of enjoyed it, and then I just went on with my life. It didn't really... I thought there was some good stuff in it. Casey Affleck was good. But yeah, definitely not one of my favorite movies of all time. And that was an Amazon movie. That was like actually made by Amazon. Faisa Hattie... Oh, I already answered that. Winners F the Prom Queen. Can you do a Christopher Walken impression doing a Tom Cruise type freakout? Is that what you want? Is that what you want, man? I will give you that. For your $1.50 Streamlabs donation, I'm going to give you that, man. And here it goes. You know, if you want this movie to continue and you want to keep your jobs are at stake here. Follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, I will fire you. I don't know. That's all I have. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for that. That's all I got. I'm sorry. Better Zaga. I just saw the movie Contraband. It's Gone in 60 Seconds remake. It even had the same actors. Do I remember Contraband? I don't remember anything about that. Did I even see it? I don't know. But yeah, I might have the same feelings as you. With that said, just go watch Gone in 60 Seconds, right? Not Seemingly Fake has just become a member for 2 months now. Yay! Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Let's see. Here's another one. Anani Moose. You have probably answered this before, but have you seen Queen's Gambit? For some reason, it never interested me. I like Queen's Gambit. I really do. Once again, it's sort of a time period series that takes place in the 60s. I liked it. Anya Taylor-Joy, I think she's a great actress. I really do. And the whole... the movie's based around playing chess and her ability to do it, her natural ability to do it. And I thought it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. And the thing, just the concept of chess alone was, I've only played it a few times, but it's truly like a remarkable game I've always wanted to be good at. And I'm not. So that's kind of an interesting topic. So I'd recommend watching it. At least give the first few episodes a watch. I recommend it. All right. Thoughts on The Great Escape from Billy Gold. The Great Escape, I have not watched that movie in I haven't watched that movie since maybe the early 2000s, and I need to go back and rewatch it with adult eyes, because classic films like that, you sort of appreciate them a little bit more as you age. So I need to go back and revisit it. I know it's one of the quintessential movies ever made, and I'm going to go back and check it out. I just haven't watched it in so long. I'd hate to give you my teenage opinion on it. Adam Clace. Hey, John, I know you're not into superhero. Hey John, I know you're not super into them, but what are your top shaky cam films? I'd go with Chronicle, as above, so below, and Cloverfield. Thank you for streaming. Well, thanks for the question. Favorite shaky cam movies? I mean, you could almost pick any movie from the 2000s. I mean, half the action movies were shaky cam movies, right? Yeah, God, shaky cam. I hate it. I hate it. Cloverfield would be a good Cloverfield. The first one was an okay found footage movie. Like you mentioned, Chronicle, I guess, is one of the better ones. But every movie that had shaky cam, I hated it. Now you're sort of mentioning more of found footage movies, and that's almost different than shaky cam movies because there's a lot of shaky cam movies. You could take just about any Paul Greengrass movie and say it's a shaky cam movie. Like the movie what was it? Greenberg or something? The Matt Damon Paul Greengrass movie. I hated that. I hated it because it so much shaky cam. It just made me nauseous. Faiza Haiti, may I suggest a movie that will make it into your top 10 of the year? It's called Sound of Metal. I have been recommended Sound of Metal a few times. I've heard it's really good, and I do want to check it out, and I will check it out before the end of the year. I have a lot of movies I need to check out before the year is over. A lot of smaller movies that sort of slipped under the radar. So no worries. I will check it out. I don't really have a favorite movie of 2020, though. I'm trying to think of a movie I loved this year, and I'm hard pressed to pick one. Jason Nelson, hey John, what are your top 3 Mark Wahlberg movies? I'll tell you an underrated Mark Wahlberg movie that's not that great, but I sort of enjoy watching it. And it's called it's called Rockstar, starring Mark Wahlberg, who's in a metal band. Speaking of the sound of metal, underrated Mark Wahlberg movies. My favorite Mark Wahlberg, I think Boogie Nights is my favorite overall Mark Wahlberg movie because I feel like his role of Dirk Diggler was only something he could really get away with doing and make it work. Another great Mark Wahlberg movie. I liked him in The Fighter, but that movie overall I don't like as much as I wanted to. I'm trying to think of some other. He's done so many movies. I'll just say my favorite Mark Wahlberg movie is Boogie Nights. I'm going to go with that. As far as the other two, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at his entire filmography to really pick him out. TJ Toaster, Chronicle is way better than it gets credit for. I think people really enjoyed Chronicle when it came out. It was praised, I thought, for the most part. So yeah, I don't think anyone really hated it. It's just one of those movies I don't want to watch again. All right, guys, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take just a quick break. So don't go anywhere. Come back, and during the break, answer all the questions that you guys want to get in for this live stream, and all the questions you guys get in during the break. I will answer those, and I will wrap up the live stream after I answer all of those questions. So if I have like 500 questions during the break, well, I'll probably be here a while, but nevertheless, I will answer all of those questions. So get them in right now during this break, and I will answer them as soon as I come back in just 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, and I'll see you guys in just a few seconds. All right, let's start the break here. Here we go, and I'll be right back. Blah. Okay, I'm back. Let's pump up the energy, guys. It's been a long day, and once again, I have not eaten since I woke up all day, and I did 2 podcasts earlier. I'm tired, but you know what? You guys keep me alive. You guys keep me fueled, and don't forget that your super chats help buy energy drinks to keep me alive, because without these, I don't function well. All right, let's continue here. All right, you guys left a lot of great questions while I was on the break. The first one, and don't worry, Claudio, I didn't miss it. Claudio Rogajan, thoughts on the Pirates of the Caribbean films? The first 2 sequels I never found that bad, just kind of The other sequels I never watched. Yeah, those movies progressively got worse, more bombastic and stupid as they went on, to the point where it was almost exhausting to watch. It's like you could see all the... When you watch the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, it's like, here's a great example of how to waste $300 million by showing shit no one wants to see, and you feel nothing by watching it. But the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I love that movie. I think that's a truly fun, perfect movie that captures the tone and gets it just right. After that, they sort of lost their sense of humanity. And that's why I don't like the second one, okay, but like after that, the third one was just so bad. Ugh, I hated that movie. And Nathan Rapaka left a super chat with no question, but thank you, Nathan, for that. Alex Carr, favorite Tom Cruise movie that is not Mission Impossible. Also, in terms of 2020 films, I'd recommend Freaky with Vince Vaughn. It was pretty funny. I heard Freaky was good. I never got around to watching it. Favorite Tom Cruise movies. Tom Cruise has done so many movies. It's crazy how long Tom Cruise has just been around acting. One of my favorite Tom Cruise movies is one of his earlier movies, and it's Risky Business. I love that movie. I sort of relate to that movie, and I think that was great. Outside of the Mission Impossible movies, I didn't really ever love Top Gun or Days of Thunder. I didn't really love those movies. Going into the 90s, if I had to pick some Tom Cruise movies, okay, this is 2000s, but Minority Report is one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. And if I had to pick one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances of all time, and it's such an underrated movie, Collateral. His performance in Collateral, where Tom Cruise actually plays a villain, a badass hitman, that was great. And I need to watch it on 4K. I've heard mixed things about the picture quality of it on 4K, but I don't care. Probably Collateral would be one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. Benny asks, did you get steak or chicken burritos? Great question, Benny. And in regards to my earlier story of going to Chipotle, I got 2 burritos because I'm a smart guy. And when everything's closed at night, I get hungry in the middle of the night. So I get one for now, one for later. And to answer your question, I got 1 chicken, 1 steak. I like variety. Which one am I going to eat first? Probably the steak burrito. Yes, the steak burrito will be eaten. Adam Clays, ever date a girl with terrible movie taste? Yes, but at the same time, I brought them all around to like certain movies. Like I'm like, no, we're not gonna go see that terrible rom-com. We're gonna go see this movie instead. But here's why you'll probably like it, and typically they do. So yeah, I mean, not most liked bad movies because they never experienced good movies. If that makes any sense. And I like to say that's what I brought to every relationship. And that's the only thing. The next one we have is from Claudio Rogajan. What did you hate about Pirates 3 more specific? Well, if you want more specificity, what is the term? Specificity? No, I'm not saying that right. I'll be more specific. How's that? So in Pirates 3, it just goes off the rails to the point where it's like the most bombastic movie I've ever seen. Whenever you make everyone in the movie a captain of a ship, whenever you have Keira Knightley as a captain of a ship, and all the ships are going down a toilet hole funnel, shooting at each other, And watching that makes you want to fall asleep. You know you failed as an action movie, especially a big budget action film with pirates and spectacle. And I was just so tired. I actually think I almost fell asleep during the movie. That's one thing I hate about it. As far as other things that happened, I don't specifically remember a lot of other things about the movie. But I hated that. It was like they were all going down a toilet being flushed in pirate ships. And in my opinion, that's where the franchise was being flushed down the toilet, because it was a big pile of shit. So yeah, I hope that answered the question, man. All right, guys, I think I'll answer a few more questions here from the chat. Inoni Moose, ha ha ha, your current girlfriend. The next one, yeah, Tropic Thunder was a great cameo scene with Tom Cruise. I was going to say that. Eyes Wide Shut is great, Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise's performance in Eyes Wide Shut is good. I don't like the movie itself. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie, but not one of my favorites. And I always remember the line, "Take it off." Hilarious. All right. Do you like Scooby-Doo? That's a weird question, but yeah, I like the original Scooby-Doos. I don't like Scrappy-Doo. Anything with Scrappy-Doo in it, I do not watch. All right, guys, I think I answer all the questions. I hope if you guys have any more questions, don't ask any more questions because I do not want to miss them. Please don't ask any more Super Chats or Streamlabs questions. I don't want to miss your questions. I will wait a few seconds, so if you did already do it. But as always, guys, I'm not leaving just yet. Don't worry. I'm just going to answer some normal questions here in the normal chat. Why can I not read your name? Nani Moose. John, could you take it all? I don't know what that's in regards to, but maybe. Are you exited for 2021? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I excited? I was already thinking of an exit strategy for 2021. Am I excited for 2021? No, I'm scared. I just hope things don't get worse. But I am excited to leave 2020. So I don't know. It's sort of a flip of the coin at this time. Claudia Rogajon probably almost fell asleep because it's almost 3 hours. Yeah, it overstayed its welcome as well. The Pirates 3 was just, why did it need to be 3 hours long? It's a fucking movie about pirates, okay? We don't need 3 hours of this shit. Faiza Hattie, thanks for the Streamlabs question here. Is there a classic movie you would be sad to admit you've never seen? I don't think I've seen all of Ben-Hur. I really don't. I think I've seen the chariot scene. I can't remember watching the 10 Commandments. Cleopatra, I don't think I've ever seen. Those would be a few of the classic movies if you wanted to go the golden age of cinema that I haven't seen. All right. Make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the questions here. But before I go, thank you guys so much for joining the live stream once again. I know it's been a few weeks. I missed the last one, and that's because I was out of town. I actually was meeting up with some old friends from high school, and we had a good time. Went to the Hoover Dam, and that was cool, and went to Vegas, and that was also fun. But as always, guys, thank you so much for joining and asking questions or just watching. Look out for some new upcoming videos very soon. There's so much to talk about. But yeah, that's, as always, I love doing the live streams. This is like my favorite thing to do. And also, if you guys are Patreon supporters or YouTube members and you guys are part of the podcast perk, look out for a brand new podcast tomorrow. I have an audio version and a video version if you want to look at my stupid face. It's up to you. There's one more question here. One more question. Billy Gold, Marvel movies are boring. Will superhero movies die? I'm going to disagree with that. Some of them are boring, but I liked the Endgame and Infinity War and some of the Captain America movies. And I like Thor Ragnarok. I don't think they're boring. It's just when they play it too safe and they keep going to that same formula over and over again, that's when they get boring. But I like them for the most part. As long as they continue to evolve, I think superhero movies can be here for a while because they just have fun, colorful characters, and that's what I want to see. Inoni Moose, I love you, John. Well, I love you too. And I love all of you. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. It does mean a lot. That's all I need you guys to do is just watch the video. Just be here to look at me. That's all I need to accreditate myself. As always, thanks guys. If you want to, give the video a like if you guys were mildly entertained just for a few seconds. And I will see you guys probably in a few more days with another live stream to make up for not doing one last week, because there is more to talk about that I didn't mention in this live stream. So yeah, I might do one this weekend, so keep a close look at. And as always, I will mention it on Twitter, Facebook, all the social media outlets that exist. All right. Take care, guys. Have a great night. I'm going to go eat my Chipotle. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the question here. Yeah, I'm going to go eat Chipotle. I'm starving. And maybe I'll watch. Is Greenland out right now? I want to know. I hope it is. I'll go watch that if it is. Take care, guys. Have a good night. And I'll see you next time. Bye. And let's end it there.